Hare Krishna, welcome all of you all for this Saturday evening Bhagavatam class. So today we are having it on Zoom. Every day we have it live, but this time we are having on Zoom, but it's a temporary one. Next week we'll be having a regular class. So we are in chapter 3 of Canto 1 of Bhagavatam. So we completed verse number 1 last time. So let's have a fast recap of what we did and request those who had attended last session, if you can give me a fast recap of what we discussed. A fast one. Yes, Rajesh Balsara Prabhu, what have you done? I request all of you all to put on your videos because if the videos are on, the session becomes more interactive and it's enjoyable for the teacher also. Otherwise, it's like I'm talking to blank screens. So I just have to vomit and go. That's all, without making sure that whether you all understood or not. So requesting all of you all to please put on your videos. That's the reason why I stopped the Zoom lectures. That was one of the reasons. Okay. What did we do last time? Who can give me a fast recap? Yes, Rajesh Prabhu. Rajesh Balsara
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Last time we discussed about the three Vishnu, Garbho Dakshinaya Vishnu, Shiro Dakshinaya Vishnu,
and Karano Dakshinaya Vishnu.
Karano Dakshinaya Vishnu.
So
then
this
how the universe form, how universe form by just looking
glance
at
of the Vishnu on the Mahatattva. Yes. Okay. So that thing, that's enough of a recap. I don't want to overload people. So let's read verse number 2. Who would like to read verse number 2? Bhagavatam chapter, Canto 1, chapter 3, verse number 2.
Can I try, Prabhuji?
Yes, please. All of you, please keep your Bhagavatam book ready because I want others also to participate equally and read, because today we'll be covering a lot of verses. We'll try to cover a lot of verses. Yeah.
Okay. Canto 1, chapter 3, text number 2. A part of Purusa lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest.
So I think I don't have to explain much. We have already discussed about this on the last sessions, and earlier also we discussed. So we'll just go to the purport of it. Please read the purport.
Okay. The first Purusha is the Karano Dakshaya Vishnu. From his skin holes, innumerable universe has sprung up. In each and every universe, the Purusha enters as Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu. He is lying within the half of the universe, which is full with the water of his body. And from the navel of Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu has sprung the stem of the lotus flower, the birthplace of Brahma, who is the father of all living beings and the master of all demigod engineers engaged in the perfect design and working of the universal order. Within the stem of the lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary system, and the earthly planet are situated in the middle. Upwards, there are other better planetary system, and the topmost system is called as Brahmalok or Satyalok. Downwards from the earthly planetary system, there are 7 lower planetary systems inhabited by the Asura and similar other materialistic living beings.
1 second. So here, as we have discussed, the navel coming out of Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu, and the navel from the navel, the lotus stem coming out, and in the stem of the lotus are the 14 planetary systems. Bhu Mandal or the earth comes in the center plane above, or the Brahma lokas. Up to Brahma loka, we got higher lokas on the above side, and lower are the Atal, Vital, Sutal. Those lokas are called the lokas for asuras and nagas and all that. It is said that the opulence in the lower planetary system is much more than that which is there in the upper planetary system. Material enjoyment. Bhoga is more in the lower planetary system, and much polish and first class bhoga system you got on the lower side. Point number 2, sunlight doesn't go in those regions. So हम लोग ने कब कहानियों में सुनी रही है वो Nagin, one time was there, Sri Devi and all that Nagin movie was always a big flare, in between. So actually those Nagalokas are still there, existing over there, and the light is eliminated by the Nagamani which is there on the hoods. That is the only source of light over there. There is no other sun over there. So the Nagamanis are self, illuminating objects or things which are there on the hood of the snakes, and that is how this loka is inhabited. So though they are called as lower loka or called as inferior loka, remember one thing: if you, from the materialistic point of view, the bhoga level or the enjoyment level is much higher than in upper lokas or in Bhumandal. In fact, Bhumandal there is no enjoyment. Bhumandal is a transit point which it's like a junction. कहाँ जाना है, ऊपर जाओगे नीचे जाओगे, it's a junction point. And then यहाँ पे हम लोग enjoyment and all sort of things we are trying to enjoy, but actually this is just a transit point. Either you go higher towards the spiritual world or you go towards the lower planetary system. Of course, the main point is with Earth is it is a place where our karmas have to be exhausted, whether good or bad. We exhaust some of the karmas over here, the prarabdha karmas. Rest, as you all know, either it is Swarga or Naraka. Please continue, Prabhu.
From the Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu, there is expansion of the Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu, who is the collective Paramatma of all living beings. He is called Hari, and from him all incarnations within the universe are expanded. Therefore, the conclusion is that Purusha Avatar is manifested in 3 features. First, the Karanodakshaya, who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahatattva. Second, the Garbhodakshaya, who enters in each and every universe. And third, the Shirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, organic or inorganic. One who knows these plenary features of the personality of the Godhead knows Godhead properly, and thus the knower becomes freed from the material condition of birth, death, old age, and disease, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita.
Just
in
a minute,
this,
hold on. Just a minute. Hold on. Here, there's one important statement which we have to understand. Both organic as well as inorganic. Can anyone give us an understanding that how it is organic, inorganic in our old self? How it is?
Prabhuji, is it like in the living as well as in the non-living beings?
There is nothing called non-living. Everything is living is possible. Like for example, if someone says, two chemicals react, and individually the chemical doesn't have any reactive power. It is having some life. That is why it is able to react with another chemical. Otherwise,
May I try?
I'm giving the answer.
But I'm in an auto rickshaw, so
I'm already giving the answer. So the point what I'm trying to say is it is already everything is living. For example, our human body produces hair and nails. Now, if you touch any part of the hair or the nail, unless and until you don't pull the nail to the root or you don't pull the hair from the root, the hair and the nail is a dead or a non-living entity. But it is being produced by a living entity. So all this is possible. That's why Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo. He is a person who can, incorporate all this into one. No one else can do it. Only the Supreme Personality can do it. And that is what is shown over here, or this what is being highlighted over here. Yes, Prabhu, please continue.
So Prabhuji, in all fairness, वो organic और inorganic का अभी भी पता नहीं चला.
This is organic. That is inorganic. Snail is inorganic.
Acha. Okay.
Anything dead is inorganic.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It is not reacting to anything organic. It cannot grow of its own.
Okay.
As long as it is connected to the root, it can go. Hair, when you cut, it will not grow. It will not die also. It will be as it is. That's why you see the Egyptian mummies, when they open, they get even the hair intact after billions of years. Yeah.
Okay. In this shloka, the subject matter of Mahavishnu is summarized. The Mahavishnu lies down in some part of the spiritual sky by his own free will. Thus, he lies on the ocean of Karana, where from where he glances over his material nature, and the Mahatattva is once created. Thus, electrified by the power of the Lord, the material nature at once creates innumerable universes, just as in due course of a tree decorates itself with innumerable grown fruits. The seeds of the tree is shown by the cultivator, and the tree or creeper is in due course becomes manifested with so many fruits. Nothing can take place without a cause. The Karana ocean is therefore called as the causal ocean. Karana ocean, causal. We should not foolishly accept the atheistic theory of creation. The description of the atheist is given in the Bhagavad Gita. The atheist does not believe in the creator, but he cannot give a good theory to explain the creation. Material nature has no power to create without the power of Purusha. Just as Prakriti or woman cannot produce a child without the connection of a Purusha or man. The Purusha impregnates and the Prakriti delivers. We should not expect milk from a fleshy bag of the neck of a goat, although they look like bristly nipples. Similarly, we should not expect any creative power from the material ingredients. We must believe in the power of the Purusha, who impregnates Prakriti or nature. Because the Lord wished to lie down in meditation, the material energy created innumerable universes at once. In each of them, the Lord lay down, and thus all the planets and the different paraphernalia were created at once by the will of the Lord. The Lord has unlimited potencies, and thus he can act as he likes by perfect planning, although personally he has nothing to do. No one is greater than or equal to him. This is the verdict of the Vedas.
Here, Srila Prabhupada is trying to make a very clear statement that how atheists do not believe in the existence of God. So, to believe into the existence or non-existence of God, you have to accept God, that they forget. I don't believe that there is a prime minister. That means there is someone who is above you. So you have to exist. The acceptance of existence of God itself proves that the atheists are wrong. Second point. Many people come up with the things like, oh, the earth just came with a big bang. You know, there is no reason for the earth. It's just a mixture of few chemicals and it is formed. So those people are those trying, or actually atheists who are trying to deride the process of creation. Whereas Bhagavatam, I mean, it's because those people have not got a chance to read Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam gives us the actual way in which the entire creation takes place, and that is what is important. So the third verse just talks about the third Purusha. So we'll just go through that. Yasya Vyaya Samsataha Kalpito Loka Visrataha Tadvai Bhagavato Rupam Vishuddham Sattvam Urjitam. This is also a very important shloka. If you understand the purport is very important. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternal in spiritual existence, power, excellence. See here, what Vyasdev is trying to say over here is he may have created this whole thing, this Mahatattva, this which are inferior energies, so to say. Everything has been created by God, but actually Lord is above it, the creator. And I gave an example also, like how a jailer can keep on, he is maybe staying in the jail to take care of the prisoners, but he is nowhere a prisoner. He is not bound by the law of the jail, and he can keep coming in and out. He can come out, he can go for a stroll, he can go for a morning walk outside, anything he can do. So similarly, we have to understand that Lord is much above it, and he is nowhere controlled by this. Here we will understand the basic understanding of Virat Rupa or Vishwa Rupa. हम लोग काफी बार सुने हैं विश्व रूपा के बारे में. So here Prabhupada is writing in the purport regarding that. Okay, this time who can read? I want someone else to read.
Prabhuji,
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, please read.
the conception of Virat Rupa. Shall I read the translation first
No,
again?
no, you read the purport. That's more than enough.
The conception of Virat Rupa or Viswarupa or of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. To him, a form means something of his material world, and therefore an opposite conception of Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of the Mahatattva, which includes all the material ingredients. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord himself personally are one in one sense. But at the same time, the Mahatattva is different from the Lord. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. The conception of the Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalist, is thus not different from the eternal form of the Lord. This eternal form of the...
Okay, once again. How many of you all understood this Virat Rupa? What is this Virat Rupa or Vishwa Rupa? What do we understand from that?
प्रभु जी पूरा बाउंसर है.
Pura
बहुत
bouncer.
confusing है.
So I stopped here only. I said before I go ahead. Okay, how many of you? What concept do you have? I mean, what is your understanding regarding this Vishwa Rupa and Virat Rupa or Virat Rupa? I mean, it's both the same. Huh?
Prabhuji, Virat Rupa is, according to me, that the Lord in which he shows all his avatars and his whole form together.
Okay.
And to see that also we need special eyes.
Yes.
So, yeah, so it's like all his roles, all his full power together, like.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Sanita Mataji, what do you like to add?
Ramji, what we saw in Mahabharat also, that Bhagwan ka pura, that entire, the universe can be seen, all the everything, but there is fire emanating and all his avatars, all the devtas, and everything is inside him.
Yes.
Like,
very nice, fascinating. ठीक है. Somebody else can add. Yes. क्या हो गया? बाकी लोग ने सब वीडियो क्यों बंद करके रखा है? Instead of telling so much, people have kept their video off. I don't understand why. Yes, Rajesh Prabhu, what do you think? Rajesh Balsara Prabhu, what do you think?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, with this Virat Rupa, I only connect the Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna needed a special eye to look at the Virat Rupa of Krishna.
Okay. See, let us understand this Virat Rupa. Where is Vishal? Vishal Agrawal has switched off. Gauri Gupta has switched off. Shuddha Darshan. Okay. Okay. Shraddha Mataji, according to you, what is Virat Rupa?
Prabhuji, it contains every other Rupa, but they individually they are not same as the main, something like that.
You're talking like that, Sadguru, कुछ समझ में नहीं आता. हाँ, सतरूपा जानवा देवी दासी, yes, माताजी बोलिए, आपको क्या लगता है? What is Virat Rupa? Come on, fast.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, द एंटायर जो यूनिवर्स में जो दिख
हाँ।
रहे हैं वो सब भगवान का विराट रूप में इंक्लूडेड है।
इंक्लूडेड है, बट क्यों है? व्हाई? Yes, Swishal Prabhu, you have any idea?
Prabhuji, I think Prabhuji, Krishna, Virat Rupa is showing that all the creations are emanating from him and they are going into him only again. That is what the Mahabharata shows.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Huh. Last, Shivdat, you want to try?
प्रभु जी विराट रूप इससे दिखा क्योंकि मालूम पड़ेगा कि कृष्णा इज सुप्रीम।
ऐसा एम्बिग्यूअस स्टेटमेंट कर दिया ना, कोई इसको रिफ्यूट कर ही नहीं सकता। बट समझ how do we understand? See, the question here for all of us, especially sitting over here in this classroom, is how do you understand the Virat Rupa, or why is this Virat Rupa? This will come in detail in the coming chapters. Bhagavatam will discuss about the Virat Rupa, but the Virat Rupa has to be understood in various forms. Bhagavatam will describe it as the head is the Brahmanas, the hands are the Kshatriyas, the stomach is the Vaishyas, and the legs are the Shudras. Basically, for those who cannot conceptualize, okay, how many of you जानते हैं कि भगवान नाम बहुत जल्द लिखते हैं, किताब में लिखते हैं, no? Many people write Ram, 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 Ram. You have seen, I hope you all have seen this. Why? Why? We chant, we don't write. It is not wrong. It is not wrong. Please don't misunderstand. It is wrong. It is right. But for those who cannot focus their mind on chanting, they are asked to write. मन भटकता है, मन concentrate नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो उनके लिए क्या बोलते हैं आचार्यगण? ऑल्टरनेटिव दे गिव इज यू राइट। तो कम से कम लिखते वक्त मन थोड़ा बहुत तो उसमें लिखना, क्यों? बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट बी कॉपी पेस्ट तो कर नहीं सकते हो, लिख रहे हो आप, तो you have to concentrate your mind a little and write. So at least the focus of the mind doesn't go here and there, and is still very much attached to the holy name which is being written. Similarly, for people who cannot conceptualize the vision of the Lord or the way in which the Lord is, here Virat Rupa has got many understandings. The first understanding is, as I told you this, the second understanding is the entire 14 planetary system is the Virat Rupa. Brahmalok, Satyalok, all these loks. Earth comes in the belly, and below comes are the Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Rasatal, Patal, all those lower planetaries comes. So that is also one way of representing the Virat Rupa. There is another way of representing the Virat Rupa is, all this will come in Bhagavatam, don't worry. I'm just giving you a brief so that you understand. नहीं तो ये पूरा जो माता जी पढ़ रही है will just go bouncers to you. Third, Virat Rupa will be Lord. It is said the cloud is supposed to be the hair of the Lord. Sun and moon are supposed to be the eyes of the Lord. Fire is supposed to be the mouth of the Lord. The veins, the rivers, various rivers are supposed to be the veins and the arteries of the body. The bones are supposed to be the mountains of this material world. So actually trying to visualize Lord in our day-to-day life, so that when you get up in the morning, when you see the sun, looking at the sun, what should be the first idea you should get? Oh, that is the eye of the Lord. Sun and the moon are the eyes of the Lord. When you see a mountain, oh, that's the bones of the Lord. When you see the river, oh, that is the blood vessels of the Lord, or the veins of the Lord. The whole hip area is supposed to be, all the samudra is supposed to be in the hip area. Everything, the entire body, including the genitals of the Lord, the anus of the Lord, everything is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, how it is visualized in the Virat Rupa. What you have seen in Bhagavatam is just, and that is not all in all. I'm not saying that is wrong. Yes, what was shown in Bhagavatam, I mean, in the Mahabharata Yuddha, that is at the time of Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, I will give you the divine. When we will be reading the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, again we will be reading the entire Virat Rupa only. Then that, what does Lord say? You need divine eyes to understand that. You will need the divine. So it is, that is why here Prabhupada says very nicely here. 1 minute. The concept of Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalists, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. The eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of Mahatattva. Yes, Jigar Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, when you are saying this, like if you visualize this as the hands, legs, and all those things, so is it like for Virat Rupa of Lord is a subset of the Karanodakshaya Vishnu?
No.
Because from his pores there are many universe which are coming,
Yes.
and from in one of the universe we have Garbhodakshaya
Mahavishnu.
Vishnu.
It is, you can say as Mahavishnu. Yes, Mahavishnu ka ye one of the way of representing or Lord can be understood. Mahavishnu can be. See, the problem is, Prabhu, I'll tell you, we are trying to understand Lord with our very small intelligence. We know one shwasha of the Purusha, one exhale, these Brahmandas are coming. Brahma ji ka 3 lakh trillion 40 billion years are taking place in that one shwasha, and then when he takes back, everything goes inside. So this is too heavy a knowledge for our mind to digest, and practically we are not seeing anything of that sort in front of us. So, to easily to understand, or rather to sensibly understand, we have to understand that, see a life of a butterfly or some insect which is born in the morning and dies in the night. For him, the entire life, becoming right from birth, youthhood, getting married, producing children, and by the night he has to become old and die. There are many insects, right? We know that. So when we see that, when he sees you, oh, there is one Jigar Prabhu who's living for 100 years, 80 years, and he is 6 foot tall. I mean, for 5 feet, 5.5 feet tall, and I'm just like 1 millimeter. So that's the way we have to understand the entire concept of Virat Rupa. We are too small. We are like a cockroach in the gutter, and we want to understand the whole world. We are trying to read the Bhagavatam to enter into the entire universe. It's so big. It's so huge. So don't worry. This will come again in the second canto. This will come in detail. It will come. So I'm not going to detail of it. That time we'll be understanding the details of it.
Yeah, so Prabhuji, what I'm trying to understand is कि जो विराट रूट हम लोग समझने की try कर रहे हैं, in actuality that is also subset of a Mahavishnu or maybe Krishna.
Yes.
So there would be huge number of Virat Rupa of Krishna depending on the universes.
It is not a Rupa which is existing. It is the way in which it is depicted. अर्जुना को उसने सभी he could see thousands of hands, thousands of legs, thousands of faces, thousands of helmets, with all the demigods and with all the Kauravas going inside the mouth of the Lord, and some people getting crushed in the between the teeth. So this was the Vishwarup shown to Arjuna in the Mahabharata, whereas this Vishwarup was not shown at the what do you say, Shanti Parva, when he comes as Shanti Duta, and when it shows this Virat Rupa again, Duryodhana says, "Arey, you are trying to just show some Maya, catch him, arrest him." You remember I have mentioned that story in the Shanti Parva. So that place, the Virat Rupa shown was different. Again, here I am telling you, the Brahmanas are the head, Kshatriyas are the hand, Vaishyas the belly, Shudras are the legs. Again, in the same chapter, you will see, cloud is the hair of the Lord, eyes, sun and the moon are the eyes of the Lord. All this whole thing is coming. So Lord can be visualized in these form. Another example I gave you was Virat Rupa showing the 14 planetary system. Like Brahmalok is the head, and Patalok is the leg ka jo taliya bolte na, the foot of the sole of the foot. Wo. So this is how the various ways in which the Virat Rupa has been explained in Bhagavatam. In second canto, all this explanation will come to you. Don't worry. So this just I'm giving you a prelude of it. Rest details we will understand from that.
And Prabhuji, ये महातत्व क्या है वो भी नहीं समझ में आ रहा है.
Mahatattva or the Pradhan, there are two names, Mahatattva or Pradhan. Please try to understand, both are nothing but all these 25 elements which are required. What are the 25 elements?
5 sensory organs.
No, 5 gross elements.
Gross elements.
Earth, fire,
12.
sky, ether, and all that. then your 5 senses, 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Then what are that? 20 ho gaya. Then time, prakriti, that is nature, 3 modes of nature, time, and then your consciousness. These are all together gives you 25 elements. So these, when they are together in an okay, let me put it in a very easier manner. Suppose you're having paneer palak. Can you visualize how it was earlier, before it was cooked, before it was taken on the kitchen table, which is kept on the kitchen table before being cooked? How it is? The palak is separate, the paneer is separate, then the oil is separate, then when the masalas are separate, everything, every ingredient is separate. When these are all mixed together, then you are getting paneer palak. Similarly, all these ingredients in the basic level, what you were called, I mean, element, the basic element level, it is all in one crude form. It is one crude form. जिसमें से जब Lord glances over the Mahatattva, then the entire creation takes place. Everything will come in detail further on. Don't worry. The second canto, everything will come. How first the Ahankara is made, then the 3 modes of nature are made, and then with time, when the time starts agitating, then the entire creation starts. It's very scientific, mind-boggling and scientific. That's why बहुत सारे लोग छोड़ो ना यार, 10वां कैंटो पे चलते हैं, रासलीला सुनते हैं. It's easier. Why people go into the 10th canto easily? So, you know, say seeing the Bala Rupa of the Lord and seeing his various leelas like Govardhan Leela and Damodar Leela and all. Why people want to go? Because this is asking for more intelligence or understanding. But what Prabhupada says, what the Acharyas say are, if you understand the first 9 cantos, then your brain is ready to accept the 10th canto. If your first 9 cantos are not clear, 10th canto may look sweet, but you can't digest it. Or rather, you can't get out your true devotional service out of your heart. That is the reason. That is the reason why it has been explained. So don't have a apprehension towards it. I mean, kya hai, kaisa hai. Okay. So, okay. Anyhow, yeah, continue, Mataji.
The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and the formation of his multifarious manifestation of incarnation is always of the same transcendental quality, without any touch of the Mahatattva.
Yeah, the last line is very important. Without any touch of his, let's understand this very clearly. And the formation of his multifarious festations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality, without any touch of the Mahatattva. One thing I'll tell you, the time, that is why a portion of the Lord goes and touches the material world, and that portion becomes Lord Shiva. That portion becomes Lord Shiva. Shiva, when he touches this material world, see, the material world is very, very inferior. Very, very inferior compared to the spiritual world. It's very, very inferior. So Lord doesn't touch directly. It's like if you want to touch an electric current while live wire, what would you do? You'll wear a rubber gloves or stand on a rubber shoes or on a wooden stool or a wooden plank, and then you can touch. You can't touch it directly. Similarly, or there's something dirty which is lying on the floor. Would you put your hand and clean it? No. You would use your gloves or something. You'll put on your gloves and then you will remove the whole thing. Or like how doctors, when they want to do an operation, they wear some gloves. They can do it barehanded also, but they don't want to touch the blood and other dirty things, plus and urine and all the stuff. They don't want it to be touched. So they use a gloves. Similarly, Lord, to connect with this material world, uses Lord Shiva. So that is why here it is clearly said, the transcendental quality is without any touch of the Mahatattva. Mahatattva means Ghatiya Mal. Why Ghatiya Mal? Because it is having the senses, three modes of nature, gross panchabhuta, everything is there in that. Don't worry, in the future you'll with more verses you'll understand. Don't worry. Okay, read the next verse. Who will read the next verse? Come on, fast. Who wants to read the next verse?
Royal.
Chalo, read.
The devotees, with their perfect eyes, see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs, eyes, arms, and faces.
अब ये कैसा समझ में आएगा? Thousands of eyes, legs. हम लोग रावण का 10 सिर देख के हम लोग परेशान हैं. इधर भगवान के thousands of hands, thousands of head, thousands of thighs, arms, and faces. All extraordinary, and all are extraordinary. ऐसा नहीं कि वो वाला चेहरा घटिया था, ये चेहरा अच्छा है. All are extraordinary. Please continue.
In that body, there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings, and are adorned with garlands.
So this is also a Purusha Shukta prayers. आप लोग ने सुना रहेगा Purusha Shukta prayers. What is that Purusha Shukta prayers? It only talks about Sahasra Sirsha, Sahasrapad. Sahasra मतलब हजारों सिर है, हजारों पैर है. It glorifies the Lord in the Vishwarup only. So it is basically for impersonalists or those who cannot concept the Lord in the form of a Vigraha. To simplify it, Lord has come in the form of Vigraha, various Vigraha, may it be Narsingadev, be it be Varadev, be it be your Krishna Leela, be it be Damodar, anywhere, any of the Leelas, he can come, he can form in a personal form. But this is not conceptual easily. That is the problem. Yeah, please read the purport. It is very important. Up to fifth number purport is also very important. Yeah.
With our present materialized senses, we cannot perceive anything of the transcendental Lord.
Okay, is this clear? First and foremost, this point is very clear. With this material senses and with our very small intelligence, that is why people go, yogis go to the forest and do tapasya for thousands of years. And here, without any tapasya, we want to see the Lord. Come on, you come and show me. It's very difficult, Prabhu. Yes.
Our present senses are to be rectified by the process of devotional service, and then the Lord Himself becomes revealed to us.
Samrat Prabhu, you have to speak to them in the mic, then your voice is much clear. Yeah.
Yes.
That's better.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the transcendental Lord can be perceived only by pure devotional service. So it is confirmed in the Vedas that only devotional service can lead one to the side of the Lord, and that only devotional service can reveal Him. In the Brahma Samhita, also it is said.
Your voice is going out, Samrat Prabhu. You have to come to the mic. आप mic में देख के बात करते हो तो अच्छा आता, clear आता है.
In the Brahma Samhita,
very nice.
In the Brahma, also it is said that the Lord is always visible to the devotees whose eyes have been anointed with the tinge of devotional service. So we have to take information of the transcendental form of the Lord from persons who have actually seen Him with perfect eyes, smeared with devotional service. In the material world, also, we do not always see things with our own eyes. We sometimes see through the experience of those who have actually seen or done things. If that is the process for experiencing a mundane object, it is more perfectly applicable in matters transcendental. So only with patience and perseverance can we realize the transcendental subject matter regarding the absolute truth and his different forms. He is formless to the neophytes, but he is in transcendental form to the expert servitor.
So Srila Prabhupada is clearly telling you will have to have some patience and perseverance to see the form. Okay. The last verse, then we are going to the important incarnation. 24 incarnations which are described in the Bhagavatam comes after the verse after the next. So who is reading the next verse? Come on. Who can read the next verse?
Prabhuji, I'll read.
Go ahead.
This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created.
Very important. Please understand. It is from the second manifestation. कारणोदक्षय नहीं, गर्भोदक्षय विष्णु या शिरोदक्षय विष्णु, इसी से ही manifestation हो सकता है. Even in Krishna book, when the demigods were fed up of Kamsa's atrocities and by the evil people flourishing in this material world, they all went along with Bhudevi in the form of a cow. Where did they go? They all went to Brahmaji, Shivji, and Brahmaji, and finally, where did Brahmaji go? At the Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Sorry, Shirodakshaya Vishnu. At the bank of the Shirodakshaya, that is Shir Sagar पे चले गए और वहां पे Shirodakshaya Vishnu ने बोला जाओ, उन्होंने दर्शन भी नहीं दिया, सिर्फ आवाज दिया, जाओ, go and sit, I'll come and incarnate as a son of Singh. Ask the demigods to take birth in the family of Gwalbals. So that is where you have to understand. He is the source of all multi-incarnations, and from his creation comes demigods and men and others are created. Yes, please read the Parpat Mataji.
The Purusha, after creating innumerable universes in the Mahatattva, entered in each of them as the second Purusha, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Since he saw that within the universe there was only darkness and space without a resting place, he filled half of the universe with water from his own perspiration and laid himself down on the same water. This water is called Garbhodak. Then from his navel, the stem of the lotus flower sprouted, and on the flower petals, the birth of Brahma, or the master engineer of the universal plan, took place. Brahma became the engineer of the universe, and the Lord himself took charge of the maintenance of the universe as Vishnu. Brahma was generated from Rajoguna of Prakriti, or the mode of passion in nature, and Vishnu became the Lord of the mode of goodness.
Once again. See, now let us understand why Brahmaji was generated from the mode of passion, or he's in charge of mode of passion. What is the first quality of passion? Yes, who can tell me? Where is Priya Singh? She has not come. Priya Singh Mataji is missing. Okay. Yes. कौन बोल सकता है?
Prabhuji, can I try? Prabhuji, mode of creation is like more of a creation.
Okay. Mode of passion is more of creation. Can you elaborate it more technically? A little more technically.
बस प्रभुजी create करते रहने का, वैसे इतना ज्यादा तो नहीं पता.
Okay, very good. You're close, but you're not correct. Very, very close, but you're not correct. Anybody wants to add?
It's like Prajapati something.
Ma, try.
Even if you want to do
1 minute.
in material world also, even if you want to say, if you want to create a factory or anything, you have to be passionate about it. You have that is the idea.
Passion means you have an urge for something more. Trishna, you don't have Krishna, you have Trishna. That is the first quality of passion. You want more. जितना है उससे और ज्यादा चाहिए, और वो जब सोच वाला व्यक्ति वहां बैठेगा तो ही वो और बना सकता है, नहीं तो वो दुनिया क्रिएट ही नहीं करेगा. छोड़ना, कौन बनाएगा दुनिया, आराम से बैठ जाएगा. सतोगुण वाला व्यक्ति तो कर ही नहीं सकता, because सतोगुण व्यक्ति is always satisfied. That is why maintenance is done by सतोगुण, creation is done by a rajogun. And now tamogun ke bare mein again Prabhupada is going to speak. So please understand, rajogun is very, very important for any impetus. It gives you the impetus to start the work. Otherwise the impetus is not there. अगर वो suppose a man is very tired but he is having the passion, कल सुबह नया पार्टी को मिलना है, नया बिजनेस करना है, या कल बॉस को जाके नया प्रेजेंटेशन दिखाना है, that is the reason will that person will get up again, go from bumper to bumper traffic and go to office. अगर वो सतुगुण में रहेगा, पागल हूं क्या, बार बार वही वही क्यों करूंगा, I will not go. Are you able to understand this, Jigar? Because passion means you will have an impetus to keep on doing something repetitively. Repetitively, you will be to keep on doing this something. That is very important. Repetitive. Same work day in and day out, you can do only in the mode of passion. Otherwise, you cannot do. I mean, sorry to say, but this applies solely and mainly in business people. Same work repetitively every day, the same headache, the same tension, the same enjoyment, so to say, is repetitively possible only in the mode of passion. In ignorance, not possible. Ignorance वाला व्यक्ति सब खा पी के उड़ा देगा, बस वापस काम करेगा, थोड़ा कमाएगा, वापस, he will first try to enjoy that money before he wants to create more. And the mode of goodness is satisfied. Okay, I have enough. Now why should I have more, or why should I run for more? So it is, the impetus is there only in Rajagun. That is why Brahmaji was given this post, and he was given this job of doing creation of the whole world. Repeatedly, he keeps on creating, even after the pralay, when the whole world is devastated. Again, what does he do next day morning getting up? After one day of Brahmaji, the whole creation is destroyed. And again, he gets up after a long sleep. Again, vapas he starts the same work, the same things, and the same leelas also happen in the same thing. That is what is passion. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Vishnu, being transcendental to all the modes, is always aloof from materialistic affection. This has already been explained. From Brahma, there is Rudra, Shiva, who is in charge of the mode of ignorance or darkness.
How is Shiva created?
There was a stone from the
mind of the Brahma.
ज़्यादा serial मत देखना Mataji.
नहीं प्रभु जी, उनके दोनों आईज के बीच में से,
हाँ, तो क्या कैसे, हाँ बराबर बोल रहे हो, दो आईज के बीच में से, आईब्रो के बीच में से फोरहेड होता है, फोरहेड में से क्या, वो आई स्टोन वोन जेम्स वेम्स नहीं था वहां पे. Brahma ji doesn't have any gems or sing on him. See, let's understand this very clearly. It will come in the very next verse. The very next verse, this will come that the first of all engineer had the 4 unmarried sons, the Kumaras. So what happened was, Brahmaji first created. His job was to expand प्रजापति, मतलब जनसंख्या बढ़नी चाहिए ना दुनिया में. तो जनसंख्या बढ़ने के लिए उन्होंने पहले 4 कुमारस को पैदा किया. फिर नारद मुनि आए, फिर सबको बोला चलो प्लीज क्रिएट. सब सेड नहीं हमको भक्ति करना है. सब everyone said, I don't want to do devotional service, I don't want to do creation. So he got angry, and in that anger, that is why it was created in anger from the mind of Brahma. That's why Shivaji is mode of anger. That is tamogun. Tamogun means anger. That's why भूत प्रेत सब वही कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं और कोई नहीं कंट्रोल कर सकता. That is how Shivaji was created, and that is why it says, where was it? From Brahma there is Rudra Shiva, who is in charge of mode of ignorance or darkness. Please continue.
He destroys the whole creation by the will of the Lord. Therefore, all three, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, are incarnations of the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Please
get this very clear. These three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, they are incarnations of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. गर्भोदक सागर में जो विष्णु बैठे हैं, जिनके नाभि में से कमल निकला है, उनसे निकले हुए हैं ये लोग. Please go ahead.
From Brahma, the other demigods like Daksha, Marichi, Manu, and many others become incarnated to generate living entities within the universe. This Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is glorified in the Vedas in the hymns of Garbhastuti, which begin with the description of the Lord as having thousands of heads, etc. The Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the Lord of the universe, and although he appears to be lying within the universe, he is always transcendental. This also has already been explained. The Vishnu, who is the planetary portion of the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, is the super soul of the universal life, and he is known as a maintainer of the universe or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So the three features of the original Purushas are thus understood, and all the incarnations within the universe are emanations from this Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. In different millennia, there are different incarnations, and they are innumerable, although some of them are very prominent, such as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Ram, Narsimha, Vaman, and many others. These incarnations are called Leela incarnations.
1 minute. Now again, there's a bifurcation. Okay, I'll be giving you all a chart. I'll give you all a systematic chart in the future classes, so you will understand. When you refer to the chart, you will easily understand. So यहाँ पे आप समझ लेना कि though he is known to maintain the universe or Shirodakshaya Vishnu. So the three features of the original Purusa are thus understood, and all the incarnations within the universe emanate from the Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Please, ये तीन जन कहां से आए हैं? ब्रह्मा, विष्णु, महेश, गर्भोदक्षय विष्णु. और बाकी के जो इनकारनेशन है वो कहां से आ रहे हैं? शिरोदक्षय विष्णु. Please have this understanding very clear. Okay. In different millennium.
Then there are qualitative incarnations such as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who take charge of the different modes of material nature. Lord Vishnu is non-different from the personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is the marginal position between the personality of Godhead and the living entities or jivas. Brahma.
So you understanding it? Lord Shiva is the in between Lord Vishnu and the living entities. As I told you, hand and material के बीच में क्या है? Gloves. Getting the point? There is a glove which is in between the rubber lining between the hand and the, let's say, whatever stuff you're holding or you're touching an operation or doing something. So it is like that. Or when you're touching live wire, so your hand, the wood, and then the live wire. So it is in between, connecting these two, but at the same time separating the two. Please understand this. Yeah.
Brahma is always a Jeev Tattva. The highest pious living being or the greatest devotee of the Lord is empowered with the potency of the Lord for creation, and he is called Brahma. His power is like the power of the sun, reflected in valuable stones and jewels. When there is no such living being to take charge of the post of Brahma, the Lord himself becomes a Brahma and takes charge of the post. Lord Shiva is
so understand this. Brahma के लिए अगर हम लोग में से कोई qualify नहीं होते हैं, हम लोग में से कोई qualify होगा, because it is a जीव तत्व, and we don't know how many of us have ever been a demigod also earlier. Many of you all could have been demigods also, but what is the use? After being in that post, you again come back to this material world. So Brahma, when no living entity is capable or qualified to become Brahma, Lord himself takes the post of Brahma and sits and maintains both creation as well as maintenance, both he does. Yeah.
Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living being. He is the plenary portion of the Lord, but because Lord Shiva is in direct touch with material nature, he is not exactly in the same transcendental position as Lord Vishnu.
Are you all getting this? Very important point. He is expansion of Vishnu, but he is not Vishnu. The reason is he has touched something dirty. He has touched something inferior. And what is that? This material nature or the living entities.
Mahatattva, na Prabhuji?
No, here it is, here Mahatattva bolo, living entities bolo, jo bhi bolo. He is in between. That is the reason why he is, that is why, you know, in Brahma Samhita we says, no, where they gives the explanation is given like, from milk curd can be made, but though curd is same like milk, it cannot be reversed back to milk. Okay, please read, Mataji.
The difference is like that between milk and curd. Curd is nothing but milk, and yet it cannot be used in place of milk. The next incarnations are the Manus. Within 1 day's duration of the life of Brahma, which is calculated by our solar year as 43 lakhs into 1000 years, there are 14 Manus. Therefore, there
43 lakh into 1000. How many years for? For people like humans who are saving for 60 years and 70 years, हमारे तुलना में भगवान ब्रह्मा जी कितने लंबे उम्र के हैं. It is like example I told you, a small insect which is living in Jigar Prabhu's house and he watches Jigar. Oh, he's going to live long. For me, one day I'm become a grandfather and I've died also. So this is why this calculation goes haywire. Look at the way Prabhupada has explained this calculation and makes us feel how inconspicuous we are. Yes, please read.
Therefore, there are 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma.
One minute. You eating away, Mataji. What's the big hurry, Mataji? Bhook laga, Mataji? No, to aram se. See, please try to understand this. This is 43 lakhs into 10,000 years. In that period, there are 14 Manus. तो टोटल मनुष्य कितना है आपको बाद में बताऊंगा मैं. इसके ब्रह्मा जी बता रहे हैं, इसमें प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे हैं. दिस इज 14 मनुष्य आर देयर इन one day. Therefore 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma and 5040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma, and Brahma lives for 100 years. Therefore it is 5040 into 100, that is equal to 5,04,000 Manus. Total as many Manus are there in one life of Brahma. ऐसे कितने ब्रह्मांड हैं? हर ब्रह्मांड में एक ब्रह्मा है और हर ब्रह्मांड में मनु है. मनु मीन्स जो मनुष्य को क्रिएट करता है. प्लीज रीड नाउ.
There are innumerable universes with one Brahma in each of them, and all of them are created and annihilated during the breathing time of the Purusha. Therefore, one can simply imagine how many millions of Manus there are during one breath of the Purusha.
This is one breath of Purusha. Creation is done. Because see, now again the problem, again I am telling the same thing. With our more small, tiny mind, we are trying to understand. It's like, just asking one child who is in 7th standard or 8th standard to understand how a satellite is working and how it is being launched. It's inconceivable for a small child. So we are also like the small child trying to understand this great technology of the Lord, which is still and it's totally transcendental. It's not material. So we are habituated to understand things in the material world. ठीक है, एक सैटेलाइट गया ऊपर जाके लॉन्च हो गया, बट ये तो स्पिरिचुअल है, दिखता नहीं है. कई चीजें इसमें हैं वो सूक्ष्म है, हमको दिखता नहीं है. That is why we are not able to understand or digest it. Yeah, the Manus.
The Manus who are prominent within this universe are as follows: Yagna as Swayambhu Manu, Vibhu as Swarochisa.
Okay,
Manu.
where is Manus? All the Manus are mentioned. Okay, fine. And then there are the names of one set of 14 Manus covering 43 trillion years, I think, solar years are described above.
Then there are the Yuga avatars, or the incarnations of the millennia. The Yugas are known as the Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and Kali Yug. The incarnations of each Yuga are of different color. The colors are white, red, black, and yellow. In the Dwapar Yug, Lord Krishna in black color appeared, and in the Kali Yug, Lord Chaitanya in yellow color appeared. So all the incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. There is no scope for an imposter to become an incarnation, for an incarnation must be mentioned in the Shastras.
Very important point which Srila Prabhupada says. यहाँ पे आजकल हर रोज एक नए भगवान पैदा हो रहे हैं अपने इंडिया में. यहाँ वहाँ देखो जाओ, नॉर्थ जाओ, साउथ जाओ, ईस्ट जाओ, वेस्ट जाओ, एक एक भगवान पैदा हो रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं मैं कल की अवतार हूँ, मैं ये हूँ, मैं वो हूँ. बट प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, अगर कोई भगवान अपने आप को डिक्लेयर करता है, then it has to be mentioned in the Shastra. One cannot claim that I am God without his description in the Shastra. 2, Sadhu Sangh has to accept it. Shastra mein hona chahiye. And last but not the least, the Acharyas also have to accept it. Then it can be God. First and foremost, there are so many features already mentioned in the Bhagavatam, which says Ajanubahu, Lords. If someone is God or an incarnation of the God, his hands are supposed to be longer than his knees. He is supposed to have certain foot marks, certain marks under his foot, and in his palm there are certain marks which are to be there. कुछ चिन्ह होना जरूरी है. अगर ये नहीं है तो वो भगवान नहीं है. They are all imposters. Please continue.
An incarnation does not declare himself to be an incarnation of the Lord, but great sages agree by the symptoms mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The features of the incarnation and the particular type of mission which he has to execute are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Apart from the direct incarnations, there are innumerable empowered incarnations. They are also mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Such incarnations are directly as well as indirectly empowered. When they are directly empowered, they are called incarnations, but when they are indirectly empowered, they are called vibhutis. Directly empowered incarnations are the Kumaras, Narad, Prithu, Sesh, Anant, etc. As far as vibhutis are concerned, they are very explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. And for all these different kinds of incarnations, the fountainhead is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu.
For Vibhuti Yoga, for Vibhuti incarnations, it is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And why is Prabhupada talking of all these incarnations? Now we are going to read the 24 incarnations of the Lord. From the next verse, we'll be starting. There are total 24. हम लोग सब कुछ ज़्यादा करके लोग दशावतार जानते हैं, but actually there are 24 incarnations, and each incarnation का महत्व या importance आपको details में समझ में आएगा. Okay, Jigar Prabhu,